Tower of London, stone walls older than memory, standing beside the Thames like a silent witness to England's darkest secrets. I'm standing here now, where kings, queens, and traitors once paced the same worn stones. Every corner of this fortress seems to whisper, especially about two boys who walked in and never walked out. It was the summer of 1483. The Wars of the Roses were ending, but the air still carried the smell of betrayal. King Edward IV was dead, and his 12-year-old son, Edward V, was meant to inherit the throne. Beside him stood his younger brother, Richard, Duke of York, two princes, heirs to a divided kingdom, placed in the safety of the Tower of London until the coronation. But then, the coronation never came, and by winter, the princes were gone. No records, no bodies, only rumors. 1,000 theories later, and we still don't know. Were they murdered or erased by history itself? The official story unraveled quickly. After their father's death, their uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, was named Lord Protector. He was trusted, a loyal brother. But within weeks, that loyalty started to look like ambition. Richard declared the princes illegitimate, claiming their parents' marriage was invalid. Then, with Parliament's blessing, he took the crown himself, becoming King Richard III. From that moment, the boys were seen less and less. At first, they played in the courtyard, waved from windows. Then, nothing. Chroniclers wrote of guards being changed, visitors denied, curtains drawn over tower windows, and one quiet night, sometime around early September 1483, the light in the prince's chamber went dark for good. No one saw them again. For London, it was as if innocence had vanished overnight. The people whispered that the tower had swallowed the rightful heirs. But no one dared to ask too loudly who had fed it. When two heirs disappear, the suspects write themselves. At the top of every list, King Richard III. Even his allies admitted that the rumors haunted him. Foreign ambassadors wrote home that the children of Edward are no more. Some said Richard ordered the deed quietly, perhaps suffocating the boys in their sleep. Others believed he only meant to hide them until it was too late. Yet, history rarely moves in straight lines. Another theory points to the Duke of Buckingham, once Richard's ally, later his enemy. Ambitious, cunning, and close enough to know where the princes slept. Did he act alone, hoping to claim favor with a future Tudor king? Or was he cleaning up Richard's problem without being asked? Still others blamed Henry Tudor, the man who defeated Richard 2 years later at Bosworth. If the princes had lived, Henry's claim to the throne would have been fragile. Could he have silenced them after seizing power, then pinned the guilt on the dead king? Each possibility sounds plausible, each contradicts another, and each leaves one question burning in the dark. If they were murdered, where are the bodies? 200 years passed before the first clue surfaced. In 1674, workmen remodeling the tower discovered a wooden box buried under a staircase. Inside were small bones, 2 children, roughly the right age. King Charles II ordered them placed in Westminster Abbey, sealed in an urn inscribed the remains of the princes. For centuries, the public accepted it. Case closed. But science rarely sleeps forever. In 1933, the urn was opened and the bones examined. The results were frustrating. They could belong to the princes, but they could also belong to any medieval children buried in the tower grounds. No definitive proof, no DNA comparison. Just fragments of skulls and history's silence. In 2012, when Richard III's own skeleton was found beneath a Leicester parking lot, historians begged for a new comparison. Westminster refused. Too sacred, too political. So the urn remained sealed and the mystery preserved. 500 years later, the story of the princes in the tower still lingers like London fog, dense, inescapable, strangely alive. Every historian seems to see a different ghost here. To some, Richard III was a ruthless usurper. To others, a victim of Tudor propaganda, maligned by Shakespeare and history alike. Maybe the truth is simpler. Maybe the princes died quietly, lost to plague or illness, and the court chose secrecy over scandal. Or maybe power, as it often does, demanded its sacrifice. I like to think of those two boys not as symbols, but as shadows. Children who walked through the tower's gates expecting to become kings, and instead became a riddle carved into England's memory. Standing here now, the stones feel colder. The ravens watch from the battlements, and I can't help wondering, if you listen carefully at night, do the walls remember what really happened?